Hi, everybody. My name is Ed, and I am the pastor at Speed Memorial Church, which is in Sellersburg, Indiana. And this is Thursday Thoughts. And today we're just going to be thinking about relationships again, kind of. Just how there's part of me in you, and there's part of you in me just by the very nature, the very fact that we're humans. Infers that we have some kind of unity at a level that we don't often explore. And even more so, the unity exists within a friendship or within as followers of Jesus, as a family of churchgoers or a family, blood family, or any group that we're in. As we invest in each other, we come closer to that point of camaraderie or unity that naturally exist within all of us. And so today we're going to talk about two things. Paul was writing a letter to the Ephesians in the Bible, and he brought up two things that could hurt the unity or could mask it or obscure it. And one of them was lying, and one of them was anger. And so we're just going to think about those two real fast and how devastating it can be. First, lying. We lie to each other because we're brought up in a culture of lies. We try to judge each other. We try to lie with our possessions, as if our possessions add more value to us or separate us at a human level, one from another, when they're just possessions. We keep in mind the fact that we're all human and we're all valuable and we're all equal. And God loves us each one uniquely, and when we're together, He loves us all the same. And so lying to each other is not a good thing. To put it in really easy terms for us to all understand, we're just trying to manipulate our relationships by lying. We're trying to obscure something, because I think sometimes we believe that if someone really saw who we were, that they wouldn't like us. And that's just a reflection of us not liking us, or us not liking God, or some kind of false standard of value that we hold and cling to. And lying to each other I read a cool metaphor. It was or a story, analogy. Some English major tell me what it is. Lying is like amongst a friendship or a body of believers or anything. Lying is like if you're walking across a bridge that was high up above a rushing river full of rocks and rapids and sharks. And so you're walking across this bridge and your eye notices that one of the planks doesn't look so good that you're coming up to. And the eye says to the foot, you know what? Let's stop and you press down on that board and see if it's okay for us to go across. I don't want to fall in. And the foot says, yeah, sure, I got this. So the foot presses down on the plank and he realizes it's not going to hold the body. It's not going to hold us. If we step here, we're going to fall through and go crashing down into the shark-infested, rapid-filled waters below us. And so, but you know what? The foot is so tired of the eye telling them where to go and always telling them, step on this or avoid that or do this. Like the foot is just really mad because he wants to call the shots. And so the foot says to the eye, yeah, shoot, that board is fine. No problem at all. Take a step. Let's go. So the foot steps on it. The human crashes down to be devoured by sharks in a river with rapids. And it's not a good thing. Or you can reverse it too. What the eye could lie. The eye could see the board up ahead and go, that's not really, I don't know if we're going to make it through there. But you know what? I am so tired of this foot. This foot's always like lagging behind. It never wants to go fast. I want to run. It wants to trip. I don't want to wear shoes all the time, but he says it hurts if you don't wear shoes. It's always whining, always complaining. I'm going to show him. So he doesn't send any signals. The eye doesn't let the foot know what's coming up, and they fall through again into the shark-infested rapids of the water below. Do you see the absurdity? And that's what Paul is trying to say, how absurd it is that we lie to each other, as if someone really knew us, there would be some loss in value of who we are, because our value comes from God. We are made in the image of God. So actually we're reaching, the more that we can have friendships that are vulnerable, the more that we can have conversations where we're honest with each other, the closer to God we get, which is the goal, the more like God we are. And a lot of times when we're lying to each other, it produces a frustration within us, because we try to analyze our existence based on what we know and what we're learning. And if it's a bunch of lies, we get frustrated, we get angry. And we take out our anger on each other. We begin to blame each other for the problems that we're having, not even thinking that it's something broken inside of us that is causing this anger. And so Paul warns us in that same letter with the Ephesians. He says, you know what? Don't even let the sun set on your anger. Which means anger is so bad, don't let anger be the last thought you have about somebody that you're in a relationship with, whether it's a friendship, a bowling team, any online groups or whatever. Work out that anger, because honestly, the more you sit with it, the deeper into your heart it gets. And the more it obscures your relationships with each other, and the more it violates your relationship with God because of this anger. In fact, Jesus said in Matthew 5, he said, you've heard it said before that to murder is bad and you'll be subject to judgment, which he was 100% right, and it's still true. But then he said, if you're angry with your brother and sister, you're subject to the same judgment. He equates the judgment of anger with the judgment of murder, because in some ways you are canceling out the person's existence with your anger. And that's obviously goes against the relational unity that we're after within ourselves, with each other, and with God. Because we lie to each other, we get angry at ourselves, we lie to ourselves, and this turmoil inside of us spills out into our relationships with each other and then with God. We begin to see God through anger, and we begin to see God through lies, whether we believe them or whether we tell them. And this anger, we need to rush to forgiveness. Forgiveness is the key. In fact, there was a guy called William Arthur Ward. That's a tongue twister for some reason. Anyway, he said, we look most like animals when we kill each other. We look most like animals when we're angry with each other, when we cancel each other. He says we look most like humans when we judge each other. When we judge what you wear or how you talk or what you look like. That's when we're most like humans, because that's what humans do. We do that to stay safe. He says, but we look most like God when we forgive each other. And I think that's 100% true. I think of Jesus on the cross being murdered and looking down on his murderers. And he goes, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. And I think when we lie to each other, we know not what we do. When we're angry with each other, we know not what we do. And so instead of rushing towards anger or rushing towards lying or rushing towards anything that we get a perception where we feel safe. We lie so we can feel safe, so that we can be hiding behind a bush, have something covering us. Kind of like Adam and Eve in the garden when they sinned and God came to them and they were hiding in fig leaves. They tried to turn themselves into the tree. They just tried to obscure who they were, and that's what a lie is. That's what anger is. You're showing your own frustration. You're not helping the situation at all. And so we need to rush towards forgiveness. We need to rush towards mercy. We need to rush towards unity. And I hope you think about that today. That's Thursday Thoughts. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you on church on Sunday.